Hi everyone, welcome back to our final health promotion class today. So we're going to be talking about physical activity. We're just going to get straight into it. So I want to ask a question, and that is, what is physical activity? So I'll give you guys a moment so you can pause the video here and discuss and see what answers you can come with that you think physical activity is. Okay, so physical activity is any movement that your body makes, anything at all. So if you're doing kicking and walking or dancing, all these movements are considered physical activity. Even the likes of doing housework and your chores, so things like hoovering or gardening, these will also be considered physical activity. So you can become a better athlete by enjoying physical activity outside of your sports practice. So not just playing sports or not doing exercise is considered physical activity. So you can also do things like walking, and that will be also physical activity. So it doesn't have to always just be sports. Okay, so as you can be physically active without playing sports, and that's a great way to enhance and improve your skills that are needed for your sports. So I have another question, and that is, what are the benefits of physical activity? So I'll give you another moment and you can pause the video here and discuss about why physical activity is good for us and what it helps us improve. So some of the benefits of physical activity is that it improves your health. So it reduces the risk of heart disease and stroke and some cancers, and also reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes. So I hope you guys all know what those are. Yes, they all improve our health. So it also improves our muscles, so it makes them stronger. So when we're exercising and being physically active, it makes our muscles stronger, and it improves our mobility. And mobility is our ability to move. We also might have more energy. I know after a hard workout, you might feel really tired and exhausted, but overall, if you continue to be physically active, you'll have more energy. You can also sleep better at night. I know myself, if I do a really hard workout or go for a run, when it comes to the evening time, I will pass out straight away and I'll sleep a lot better. Physical activity also helps you lose weight, helps you live longer, and helps your concentration levels. So you'll have better concentration when you're thinking and making decisions and working hard that requires your brain. Okay, and there's also social benefits of physical activity. So when you guys come out and come to the gym with us or go out for some exercise, you can do your exercise with your friends and you can socialize with your friends, and also you can when you come here to us, you can also meet us and all the staff and have that social benefit too. So there's a lot of benefits of physical activity. Brilliant. Okay, so has anyone seen this physical activity pyramid? Now, it's okay if you haven't, because I will go through it all. It's very similar to our food pyramid, except there's no food on this one and it's just physical activities. So at the very bottom shelf here, the green shelf is our everyday activities. And this is what we should do every day of the week. So these are things like gardening and mowing the lawn and hoovering at home. I hope you're all helping clean around in your hubs and in your house, and things like climbing stairs and going for walks or walking your dog. So these are all everyday activities that are not necessarily sports, but are physical activities. Then your next shelf up is your aerobic exercise. And this is something you should be doing 3 to 5 times every single week. And this you should be doing for 30 minutes when you're doing your aerobic exercise. So these are things like your swimming, your cycling, you're playing football and basketball, so all the different sports that you guys might enjoy. This is aerobic exercise. So remember, 3 to 5 times every week. And then the next shelf up, the orange shelf here, is your strength and flexibility. You should be doing this 2 to 3 times every week. And these are things like yoga, stretching, there's bocce and golf. And when you're using weights in the gym, that'll be your strength and flexibility. And at the very top is your things that you should cut down. So things like watching TV, playing video games, or scrolling through social media on your phone. All of these things I know we like to do and kick our feet up and enjoy, but we should be cutting it down and doing minimal as possible and make sure you're getting all your exercise in first before we do all that. All right. So this just goes through the same thing again. So recapping is the bottom shelf is your everyday activities. So you do every day, things like walking to the shop, taking the stairs, and cleaning the house. The second shelf was our aerobic exercise. So it's 3 to 5 times every week. And these are our sports such as football, basketball, and tennis. And our third shelf was our strength and flexibility exercises. That's the 2 to 3 times per week. And these are things like golf and bowling and bocce there. And then our top shelf was the shelf that are activities that we should be cutting down on, things like watching TV, video games, and scrolling through your phone or social media, okay? So there's different quantity and types of physical activity. So adults, so all of us here should be doing 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise 5 days per week. Now, I don't know if we all get that in, but we should be trying to get those recommendations in to make sure we stay healthy and fit, okay? And then children should do at least 60 minutes every day. So children have to burn more calories as they're growing up and getting bigger, so they need to do more exercises than us. So moderate intensity exercise means that you'll feel some effort, your heart rate will increase, and you'll feel warmer all over overall. So that you start sweating a little bit. So this is things like if we were walking on a treadmill next to each other, a brisk walk, so a fast walk, we should be able to have a conversation, but we shouldn't be able to sing. So that's when you know you're at a moderate intensity, okay? So sometimes people can't or say they don't have time to do a 30-minute session all in one go. So that's all right. We can break that down to 2 15-minute sessions or a 3 10-minute session. So that depends. You could do 2 15 minutes. So in the morning you could go for a walk, and then after in the evening you can go for another 15-minute walk. So then you have your 2 15 minutes will equal to your 30 minutes recommendation of exercise. And if you want to do 3 10-minute sessions, that's all right too. Again, 10 minutes in the morning, say before you guys come here to your hubs or to Stewart's, and then maybe 10 minutes at lunch if you go for a really quick walk before your lunch, and then maybe 10 minutes when you guys get home before you relax for the day, okay? So remember, if you're trying to lose weight, you'll need to do 45 to 60 minutes of activity every day. So you have to increase the time and duration of your exercise to lose weight. And then the 30-minute recommendation is just for maintaining health and keeping healthy. So for the people who are physically active already and playing lots of sports and doing lots of exercise and they want to get even fitter, we have a thing called a FIT formula. So up here we have the FITT formula, the FIT formula. And we use this FIT formula to become fitter. Okay, so the F stands for frequency, the I stands for intensity, the T stands for time, and the second T stands for type. So when we want to get fitter, we be more active more often, so that we increase our frequency. So instead of doing our 5 recommended days, we can up it to 7 days per week now. So we exercise for more days. And then we can also increase our intensity. So we increase our pace to a vigorous intensity this time. So before I talked about a moderate intensity, so we're walking on the treadmill next to each other, having a conversation. But when we're doing a vigorous intensity, we might be at a jog or a run at this point, and we won't be able to have a conversation. We'll be too out of breath to be talking. That's when you know you're at your vigorous intensity. And then our first T, time, we spend a little longer at your activities. So instead of doing your 20 to 30 minutes every day, you can push it up to 40 to 45 minutes of exercise instead. So you increase your time and your duration. And then the last T is your type. So have a look at the physical activity that you're doing. So instead of just doing 30 minutes of everyday activities or light activities, you can change your physical activity to a harder or maybe aerobic activity or strength and flexibility activity. So that way you're changing the type of exercise and not just doing the simple basic exercises. All right. So our last thing we'll talk about is the barriers to physical activity. And we're all guilty of it sometimes, including myself. We have excuses where we say, oh, I can't exercise today, or I have a reason that I don't want to do any physical activity. But there's always a solution and there's always an alternative to our barriers to physical activities, okay? So our first one, some people say, is that, oh, we just don't have time to do any exercise or go for a walk. But you can make time. So say in the morning, if you're taking a bus here to Stewart's, you can get off a stop early and walk the rest of it. There you're getting some of your physical activity in for the day. Or as we said earlier, that you can break up your 30 minutes into smaller sections. So you can do 2 15 minutes or 3 10-minute sessions. And that way you can break it down and get all your physical activity into the day. And some people say physical activity is boring. And I don't believe that. Physical activity is not boring. You just haven't found what you like to do. Okay, if I asked everyone here to go for a 5K run, I'm sure everyone would be moaning and saying, I don't want to do that, because I know I wouldn't want to do that. Some of you might, but a lot of people might not want to as well. So it's about finding the physical activity or the exercise that you guys like doing. Everyone has their own sports that they like and enjoy more than other sports, okay? Or exercises. So you can go for walks, and if that's boring for you, you could bring a friend and have the chats or catch up through a walk, or even listen to music. Okay, so it's always about finding what you enjoy and then doing that. And then some people say, I'm just not sporty, and that's okay. Some people just don't like playing sports, but that doesn't mean that you don't exercise. There's other things and other ways to be physically active that don't involve playing a sport. So things like going for walks or going for a jog, and even climbing stairs. If you did 10 minutes of climbing up and down the stairs in your house, that's also a great way to be physically active and get some exercise in. I know your house, whoever's living in the house might not like you for the 10 minutes, but you can get some exercise in that way by just climbing up and down your stairs. All right. Our next excuse that some people say is bad weather. I know we live in Ireland and we don't have the greatest of weather most of the time, but we do have indoors. We do have our house, even the space in your kitchen or your sitting room, just a little bit of space and yourself is enough to do a workout. And if that's too easy for you, you can use water bottles or tins of beans or any tins as a weight for your exercise at home. And if you're really feeling it, you could wrap up nice and just go for a quick walk or a jog through the rain. It can be really, really refreshing sometimes, as long as it's not a storm outside. If it's just a bit of a rain, you can still go and exercise outside. You just got to wrap up well. And then the last barrier that people say is the lack of facilities and resources. Some people don't have access to the big fancy gyms or equipment and weights, and that's okay, because you can still do full body workouts with no weights at home. Or as I said, we can still go up and down those stairs. Climbing stairs is a great way to exercise. So there's still other ways around it, that you don't need to have big fancy equipment or gym equipment or weights to still get your exercise in. Okay, so I hope that is our very last health promotion session for now anyway. And I hope you guys enjoyed it all and you've learned something from it and you've been listening well. And we will see you guys again soon. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.